All right. Hello. Welcome everyone back to the Happy Hour Show. How you doing there, Big K?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Well, for some reason, my video is not coming through, of course, but I will figure that out at some point. Anyway, we got Steve Henson in the room. How you doing down there, sir?
You look like one of those Minecraft characters. I'm doing great though. I mean, as good as I can be for everything going on. Right, we're in this last leg of the bear market.
It's the last, the first, the middle. It's a bear market. We're just walking through it, just step at a time.
Sorry,
yeah, right. I mean that's pretty much, I guess, all we can say right now, right? So it's like, by the way, this is the Happy Hour Show. We're actually back on time at our normal time. My video is still crap, so evidently me being away from the studio did not fix it. So I'm going to have to call a technician to get in here and figure out whatever is wrong with my upload speed, because download speeds are doing just fine. Ay. But anyway, what is up, everybody in the chat? This is just going to be a quick show today. Footsteps, what's up? I saw producer Kenny is in the chat. We have another producer with us live here right now as well. Right to my, I guess, my right on screen. What's up, Rocket? Crypto Heartbeat in the house. What's up, Lights Out? What's up, Ash Guitar? Brizology. I know Sloth has a Hedron stream he's wrapping up here in a little bit, so we got a lot of people that'll be coming in from that. We have, I guess, I'm curious to get you guys' initial takes on that news that Alex dropped, even though it's not going to happen until Q4, so we'll get to that. And yeah, man, this is the Happy Hour Show. Good to be back. Normal time. I wish my video worked because I'm having a Stella Artois in honor of my man, Big Pep. So cheers to Big Pep. I'll cheers the camera. Dunk. There you go, so you can hear it.
Chills.
Pep and I may have slayed more than a few Stellas after the premiere last Saturday night in Tampa. So
nice.
And I'm also saddened that the biggest loss in this community is not, dips in price charts. It is Big Pep no longer streaming, at least for a while. That's what GG costs us, really. That's a real loss right there. So cheers to you, Pep. All right. Now, since we have no shortage of topics to get through, let's just come in hot. Big K, give me your premiere weekend experience. Just tell us all about it. You were like everywhere, as far as I could tell on the socials. How was it? What was the audience's reaction? Like, good, bad, awesome. Things that maybe you would have changed, or your favorite parts? Give me all of it.
Man, that's a lot to give. We had a blast. There was a lot of fun to be had. I enjoyed, like, we went, Miami premiere was the first thing we did, and that was exciting. Mixed feels overall, in the sense that, like, there was a bunch of different, there was like movie bloggers, as well as people involved with the movie, as well as, peripheral people that had helped out. So, like, there was, it wasn't just Hexicans exactly, it was a kind of like mixed crowd. So it's a little hard for me to, like, everybody seemed to enjoy the movie thoroughly at that premiere. But, again, everyone, a lot of people had a hand in it that were there, and I didn't, like, speak to any, bloggers or anything afterwards either. So I can't really, from what reviews seem to be coming out already, there seems to be a lot of positivity, You know, there's like if you look at the stuff on Rotten Tomatoes and whatever, the legit reviewers are pretty decent. So that all is awesome. Very excited about that. But moving into the next couple nights where we did Chicago, being at 2 sold out Chicago shows was pretty awesome. There, people were definitely into it. I felt like there was some cats out there that did very well by being a part of the ecosystem and were there to show it off as well. So there was plenty of outrage to go around. And people were very into it. I mean, like you could feel some of the moments real, whether it be the laughs or the tears, we got them, so there was some good moments. Having the second night that we were out in Chicago, we had Lamont Black, who's featured in the movie, is our main detractor. He came out and he brought his friends and family, and I don't know if you've seen him on Twitter, but it seems like he's pretty engaged in the community, which is awesome. I mean, he's bringing out more and more people each showing he's seen. I don't know if he's done 2 or I think this will be his 3rd this weekend, and he's got another set of people, of students and all the rest. That's pretty awesome, so like getting new engagement from people who are excited just to be around the ecosystem, and getting, the more he dabbles, the more he's like, there's redeemable qualities about Hex and Hexicans, which is nice to see. And his, the feedback has been from no coiners and people who aren't in crypto. More often than not, I've gotten people. Now I feel like they do a pretty good job at riding the line and being non-partial. So I feel like when you walk away from the movie, you get like this feel where it really matters kind of where your brain space is. Like if you're somebody who's super risk adverse, then like watching this, you're going to leave being like, absolutely not. But if you're somebody with an open mind, then there's a very good chance. And from what I've seen in the demographics of people seeing it, that you're going to ask more questions and want to engage more, So that's, and I've had several people that were, I've actually had a few people that were right, like in the process of buying Pulse, waiting for their Coinbase this and whatever to go through recently. And they saw the movie in between that, and in no way did it deter them. In fact, they just had more questions. So like those are great. That's great signs, now going upwards and onwards from here, we've got to, like, if anyone is like, we're now an hour and a half away from the movie showings, Eastern format time right now, this weekend starting. So like the more, if you're thinking of something to do tonight and you want to go on out to one of the cities that has a showing, or if you have friends that were interested, feel free to, they're looking for something to do tonight, to definitely reach out, make a call, make a text, whatever, or a post on your thing, let people know that this is an option. And like, if we have, ideally we have a strong showing this weekend. There's been some movies that have grossed, what was it? What's one of them? Like, I think March of the Penguins is one of them that like did gross like similar to what we did at the first weekend, and then went on to do hundreds of millions of dollars and like huge movie. So like it is possible to gain snowball, to build a snowball through this process, but like getting people to come out and see it definitely helps. So the more we do that, the more weekends that they'll have us. Next weekend we'll be in the UK, so that's super exciting. I'm tentatively considering making an appearance, maybe one of the most filled locations. We'll see. I've got another stream I'm supposed to be on this week here with Ken that's in the stream. I might have some more information for everyone about that all in a day or two.
Nice.
Is that about? I feel like that about wraps it up. I mean, I could go into we had a pre-party, we had an after party, we had lots of fun in Chicago. I could go into all that stuff too. That all was amazing. We had lots of cats that came out that I met that I didn't even know. People that I did know in the community. So it was a great experience. And like I said, looking forward to more. So come on out, bring more people. And hopefully, the more we do that, the higher the likelihood that you'll be able to click buttons on your smart TV really soon and see this as well. So
Nice. Steve, I think you were able to catch it, were you?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I had bought like 21 tickets in my local theater for the Friday night showing, and we pretty much packed it out. I think I had like 3 seats open. Went with, I think the only issue is everybody there was either married to or had coins already. So it's great to hear like Lamont bringing out like students. I mean, that's actually probably better than most of us are doing with regards to like, bringing people to the theaters. But I think it was great. I had my father there who's, in his 70s, understands crypto very little, has a little bit of pulse bags, but it was great to have him asking questions like, what was the OA address and why did it have so much supply and why were the wallets split up? And then, and for me to be able to help answer those, that started making sense for him, and things like that instead of but again, I think it, like Big K just said, I think people, like I found people asking questions. My wife went with me, which was not the plan in the beginning. It did not seem like a bring the ladies, it was more like a guys' night out, but a few friends wanted to bring their wives. And so I was like, shoot, we'll make it a date night, not that she can't see it, and it was interesting seeing her thoughts. She actually felt bad for Richard, wanted to give him a hug, felt like he could be loved without, all the glory, but I tried to explain to him, I think it's probably more glory than love for him, but either way, it's okay, but I think it was good to see all the different, like you said, that we had a big spectrum in the crowd that I brought, and then, I could say honestly, in Jax, I tried to get everybody to do like a big photo at the end and really only small participation of people. So, it seems like, as Big K may have pointed out, like, it's hard. Emotions are high right now for multiple reasons, whether it's good or bad. And I think, I think that showed a little bit in the situation, but I thought it was great. I thought the movie was awesome. I'm so happy there was a pulse chain plug. Did not expect that. And even my father was like, I didn't quite understand the multiple roads thing, but I'm going to look more into that. And, and it's like, that's great. Cause that's exactly it. Right. And I mean, that was what we wanted. So I think Big Case that we got to get people out there. We got to get really, I mean, you hit the Netflix streaming or something big where you get some streaming platforms and people are watching it and talking about it. I think, and then of course sequel, right? Like I hope there's a sequel. I don't know enough about it, but I hope there is.
I mean, I also hope there is too. I mean, I think that there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff that we, things that we cut that we just didn't have the ability to even put in the movie. Lots of footage. So, I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see more. I mean, hopefully,
there's certainly no shortage of paths that the story could continue on with. You know what I mean? Like,
no, of course not.
We're watching it right now. Yeah.
There's so much stuff for sure.
Yeah,
and like
fund it in the bull, and then you have it launched in the bear, right? That's
and it'll keep and like we were learning on Rags' stream recently about SEC stuff and proceedings and all the rest. So like the longer this stuff continues on, the more relevant the movies. Each time there's something that comes up with it, that's a reason to have it on streaming platforms. So like, I mean, it gives it anyone else out there a segue to be like, hey, here's more information on it. Watch this, which is great. So I think that it's got some evergreen replayability at least for the next couple years to come. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those sentiments I feel too. There's the part of where your wife comes from that you're like, yeah, I get that, but there and like I'm sure it's gonna not be any easier the road Richard has to walk for the next, going forward from here. So
well, I think especially because it's so clear to me that that's not. I mean, I just don't think that's actually who he is. So I don't know him personally, but I do think that he's probably more of what he shows in the black shirt and being humble now than he was in any of those videos. So it was an act, and there was a purpose behind it, right or wrong. I don't think any of us will know fully, but yeah, I mean, that's what I had to explain to her. Just like, I don't think that, yeah, I do think he likes money, he likes girls, he likes that stuff. I don't think, and he admits that, but again, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that either, you know, depending on the situation. I'm a married man. I don't need that stuff, but you know, he's not. So
I mean, I hear all that. I am too, but I also do like money and girls. They're cool, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, I'm not denying that. Let's go. Cars, you know, fast cars, all the stuff, right? There's a reason why the Hex Lamborghini and the Hex, all that stuff exists, you know. We did all those things. I think it's fun.
This is true. So it's good. This is great to be able to showcase it all. And seeing everyone come out is awesome. Like I said, if you feel inclined, by all means, let somebody know, hey, if this is something to do. So hopefully we keep it running for a little bit. But yeah, like I said, big thanks goes to everyone that was a part of it and came out to see it. And whether you enjoyed it or not, you know, there was a lot of time and effort went into it. And I think the end product was pretty great. So,
Briz, in the end, the wife was right, and she was always bearish. Listen to your wives, fellas. Ha 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 ha.
Who says she didn't learn from me, Briz? Who says she didn't learn from me?
That's right. But she didn't. If her husband would only have not listened to a pirate, that's, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. It is what it is, and the timing of it. I mean, you could look back maybe years from now and be like, "Oh man, he got, if he just held on, he got himself, you know, a nice little price there back in the day." And of course, I do think he's like averaged down since then. We're talking about Mikey here, but I guess I was just thinking. I mean, if I gave it like a percentage score, I'd give it like a 95, just knowing crypto, the production of it, the sound, it was absolutely just amazing. I was trying to also watch it from the perspective of a noob, and my only two things that I would have tweaked are I felt like the origin address could have been explained a little more, just in terms, it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of what was that, replied to, the point was replied to, but I think, like, especially with something like Hexologist put out today, with the how centralized is your token tweet, where he had the graph in there, I think some kind of reference to that or explanation more along those lines would have maybe helped ease noobs' minds, if that makes any sense. Billy Bob, yes, 95. I thought that was really good. Would you have gone 100, or am I too high? Tell me. Go ahead, Big K.
I was saying that that is the part in the movie when I watched it the first time that I was like yelling like at the screen the most, when I was like, it's because to me, when Clay is like, I can't think of a single reason, you know, and it's that whole like about the origin address, you know, when they're going into that, it is very like a huge part of me is like, this is a super easy answer for this. And it's like, if you understand blockchain technology, you'll know good operational security would split that all up. Like, what? Why would you have all that on the same set of private keys ever? You know, it's just, that's one of Richard's, you know, has gone into this in depth, but like, I understand that like part of a flaw of a dangerous like attack vector of a blockchain is having too much funds in one particular address, or even sending those like too much amount of funds in one particular send. You know, that a send full of hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin would incentivize miners to collude to reorganize. I mean, if that was something that they knew was happening, you know, that's an attack vector. So like, it's, to me, it's just, there's really good operational security. To him, he doesn't understand why, but that's a legitimate feeling that people have, you know, like that's why they caught that in the documentary and put it on the screen, is because like there's a lot, like he's a pretty smart dude that said that, you know, and that means that there's a lot of other people out there who think the same thing, you know, and that's what we're trying to capture, is what people actually think and feel and believe in the moments, you know.
Yeah, the answer to the the first question's easy, but then when you know the whole why would you split it up? I think my dad understood that very quickly. Like you just said, that's what I told him. That the why the supplies could be a feature was a little bit more difficult, but
yes,
you know, I basically explained to him that over time the OA would get diluted. So again, you know, anyways, so there's ways to explain it. Just, you know, takes a little bit of time and probably a few conversations, not just one.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if it's me being picky, that was one of my things I chose to be picky about. The only other thing was pulse chain. I thought the highway demonstration and graphic was actually really good for noobs. Like it was a nice visual. I thought that part was explained really well. I thought like a better reply could have been given to the notion or point that, oh, well, you know, Hex has been out and, you know, that's done that thing. So, you know, he's got to have something else. So why not release Pulse Chain? That's kind of like why Pulse Chain was released. And I thought, like, I know would have gotten into, you know, S-Load and, you know, Ethereum and stuff like that. But I think like another graphic or analogy could have been made to be like, you know what, this is why Pulse Chain got made. It's not because, you know, he needed something else to do. It's not because, you know, Hex was done and, you know.
That's true. That would have been a good add on as well. I feel you there. Now, I will say that something that we tried to steer as far away from as possible in all of this was like getting into any of the actual details. Like the closest thing that we come to any actual detail is Richard's explanation of the T-shares, which, like, thank God he got a very good, concise definition for that on camera, because if it wasn't as perfect as he had gotten it, then that probably wouldn't have made it, you know, and then that we wouldn't have had anything technical at all. So like, I think that because I like the way that I'm such a fan of that system, I think that I was really glad that if there's anything technical in it, that was what we got in there. So what did the she had a great question.
Kinetics says, Big K, tell the audience what your wife asked at the premiere.
She did have a great question at the premiere, and you know the annoying thing is that she actually even had asked me. It was along the lines of, it had to do with Clay and nomics and that stuff. But if you remember the question, Kinetics, refresh my memory, sir, because like I don't actually remember exactly the way she worded it or what she exactly asked. But yeah, it was a thought-provoking question that I thought was great. I mean, Patrick enjoyed it too. So yeah, it was.
All right. Well, while we wait for producer Kenny to post that in chat, let's move on to our next item because we are pressed for time here. At least I am pressed for time. I got some dinner engagement to go to. And we do have, I also wanted to show Crypto Class and Hot Preel are talking with said Lamont at 6. And I'll show that before we and Lamont is making the rounds. He's getting all the streamers. So
he's engagement farming the shit out of us.
Yes, he is. I tell you, this is the most attention he's probably ever gotten. It's like, oh my gosh, these people want to talk to me. They're interested in math, and I can actually talk back to them intelligently.
In a way that they understand.
He's a smart dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's done a very good job at like engaging in learning about Hex and then making unique analogies and or comparisons and or like ideas around the community. Like I can really give him some serious credit for caring. And yeah, besides engagement farming the Hex community, it's not like we was paid or one way or another to do what he did. He really is going above and beyond with that, as with the time he took out, as well as the engagement with the community, the shilling of our movie along the way. I mean, he's doing a bang up job. Really impressed.
Kinetics says
yes. So
I was going to bring up this point before that, but it was about Richard not addressing the OA. Patrick said they gave him the chance.
The closest that he really ever came was that scene that they clipped that they did put in where he's like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to ruin it for other people, but when he's like, you know,
cover your ears for 10 seconds.
You know, y'all can I fuck it all you want. Damn thing ain't never sold a car. That shit's
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
you know. But like other than that, you know, like he didn't actually want to ever like, you know, when he addressed it, it was mostly judo throw, judo slide, you know. So like, yeah, they didn't get as concise. But like I mean, I can understand the telegraphing there too. Like giving away the insight of what somebody like that address might have done for whatever reason is just as bad. Like, I understand why he wouldn't want to even yell, "Oh, operational security, you idiots!" You know, like he doesn't even, you know, not even gonna get into it, which is fine.
And your other reply to the kinetics thing, I think you were gonna mention. Right before I cut you off. Before that, maybe you remembered the question, or
yeah, that was what it was. It was just she asked about that because like when I watched the cuts of the movie to begin with, and I saw that scene.
Oh, the question. Like, okay, I thought he was replying to me, but okay.
No, that was what she asked about because I had been like, it was mind-boggling that like that he even said that I'm like, you're a coin ranking site person that understands blockchain pretty in-depthly, and like, yes, that is a criticism that idiots have, but like, holy crap, right, man, you said it. So that was like, you know, I wish that Richard did address it a little bit better, but at the same time, because of what we saw, like Steve, your dad was like, oh, I completely understand that, you know, it's pretty easy explanation. So I mean, all right, but it made for a great like gotcha moment in the movie. You're like, oh yeah, dun, dun, dun. The other shoe drops, you know.
So coins everywhere.
That's right. Next up, we're just going to mention this really quick because it broke, I guess, an hour or so before showtime. Scam bankman fraud is going back to jail. I just thought this quote from the judge. If you want to follow this Inner City Press account, the guy pretty much just does a transcription of what the judge said. But the part right before he makes, I guess, his decision, Judge Kaplan, he subscribed, Sam did, from the Bahamas and used a VPN as if he were in the Bahamas when he was in Palo Alto and could have watched, I guess, you know, TV shows, you know, whatever on public TV. It shows his mindset. All things considered, I'm going to revoke bail. So basically that was in reference, I guess, to, you know, him using a VPN to watch football games. And I mean, really, he was supposed to be open and transparent with pretty much any communication, computer activity, stuff like that. And the fact that he just, you know, spat in their face and used a VPN and tried to, you know, manipulate as much as he could. Just that did not sit well with the judge and the law. And I can't blame the judge for feeling that way. And he was like, yeah, you still haven't learned. So, you know, off to jail you go. So good for him.
So the judge was saying that he was using a VPN while he was in Palo Alto's parents' house on house arrest.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to use pretty much anything at all.
Any technology whatsoever. Yeah. I thought he was supposed to be like,
so, and like in touch with he did anyway. And judge was like, man, come on. Like we just,
so yeah, you not only did you, but you also, you know, went extra far to cover up your tracks.
Yeah. Makes sense. It's like, all right. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time because we have a lot of things to get to. Mr. Steve, can you tell us about this pDAI debacle? I guess the debacle that happened last night. Tanto Nomanai, which is also known as Dip Catcher in the Hex community, had an outstanding
great thread on
the subject. But maybe you could give us like the Cliff Notes short version because his thread was like awesome, but like we'll probably take the rest of the show to read through it as I pull it up.
I think it pretty much said there was like a PEG stability module that was copied over that allows basically it keeps pDAI and PUSDC stable together. So anytime there's a discrepancy, someone can basically mint. Yeah, I mean, can arbitrage that difference is the way I understood it. I don't know if you read it, Big K, and can tell me if I'm wrong, but that was kind of it. It was basically an arbitrage opportunity. It also looks like maybe to follow up on that, someone may have created some other coin that started with like a Tropia or something like that. I don't even know what it is yet, but maybe that thing is arbitraging the difference. I don't know, but there's something going on. I personally have not, dove in or anything too much with it. But it's interesting for sure. I mean, I feel bad because it does appear, I mean, there was a huge dip in it, but I mean, there's dips in everything. So I guess if you're going to play around with it, especially things with low liquidity, you got to expect that it could go either way. So anyways, that's kind of it. It's just an arbitrage opportunity. Through this, you see it, the peg stability module.
And it's nothing to do with, a fault in Pulse Chain. Like this was a copy, like full system state of Ethereum. Like you have these holes that pretty much got copied over. So it's not nothing is wrong with Pulse Chain. Now people can cry and be like, well, you copied that over. But again, full system state. So people can, do what they choose. And I guess Richard had a very long tweet about such things today.
Yeah, I think he was able to arbitrage like 2 to 7 million, but he thinks 2 other people are able to do it too. So not really sure. I agree with Motley on this one. I mean, I'm personally, again, I mean, do whatever you want with your money. Just, probably low liquidity. Be careful.
Yep. Question from Ian really quick. Does anyone know when we'll see our liquid loans or Liam's sacrifice? But I assume you mean loans. I would assume within the next couple of months. I was going to say this for the final notes at the end,
2 more weeks.
I would assume that they're kind of just on pace with the PH and Power City ecosystems. So I would assume we'd see all those come live within a month or 2 of each other. Good news for Fame, if you follow that, audit 1 of 2 is complete. So they're waiting for the second audit, and then Fame is looking really good, and it's possible Fiat may launch next week. So updates on all those ecosystems, as much as we know, like I said.
Cool.
Yes. Next up, what do we have here? Oh, yes. As I mentioned at the top of the show, and what I'm going to do this evening is plug into my friend Crypto Sloth, who was pretty much doing an explainer stream before this show started. And from what I caught, I would encourage anyone to go check that out if they are interested in Icosa and Hedron and what is set to be coming Q4. Let me pull this up from Alex. Again, this is a very long thread, but if you'd like to read it, just follow Alex on Twitter. But he was just sharing what he's working on, changes to HSIs. He explains Hedron. He explains changes with Icosa, HMI swap. Takes on this, Steve?
I don't have a lot of stake in this, but I don't have any problem. I mean, Alex has always, I think, done whatever he can to do right by the community. So I don't personally see any issues with anything he wants to do. I think that's kind of what you do when you choose to participate in something where someone has the ability to make these kind of changes, right? And do these kind of things. I mean, you kind of have to trust that person a little bit, when it's not a finished product, right? So most things are not that. I think, again, no reason not to trust what Alex is doing. I'll bet it's better. I don't know why he would do it if it wasn't, and why he would put all that effort and time into it if not. So anyways, probably a good thing overall. Not to like skip over the details, but
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, this broke kind of this afternoon, and I have not had time to fully read the entire thing. That's why I'm going to watch Sloth's stream, because he puts it in excellent context. And for the few minutes that I was able to catch before the show, definitely something that I'm going to catch tonight. And again, I encourage everybody to go check that out. Yeah. He pretty much just walks through this entire layout from Alex. What I did pick up, like 2 of the key things that I think I understand that could be very positive. One is the bug that was, I guess, what
compounding bug.
Yeah, that is going to be fixed with this new found Icosahedron product. What is the other one? And just
you won't have to. I mean, you won't have to like if when you upgrade your HSIs to HMIs, you won't have to tokenize and untokenize them anymore. They'll just be in one state. That's pretty cool. You'll be able to use. It seems like he's going to try and make it so that you can use whatever Hedron or Icosa on whatever chain to do whatever staking you want. So like it's an interoperable system. So like if you have bridged in Hedron on Pulse chain from Ethereum, you can will be able to interact with the contracts on Pulse chain, with your bridged in coins, stake, unstake, all that kind of stuff. Very cool. In general, it seems like multiple stakes in the
I do like that one as well. I did not even I didn't get that one yet, but thanks, Briz. If that's true, that's awesome.
There's a lot of it's features, interoperability,
pretty much I guess a lot of things that we said, hey, this could have been cooler. He addressed.
Yeah, and it's like it's what is best for the ecosystem in general is this multi-chain interoperability coming to a place where if being able to interact with all these other chains out there, like that will make we do not want to be like just living on an island, without any bridges to anywhere else. So the more of all of that, the better. The more interoperability, whether it comes in bridge, it's not just that it's also through contracts like this that will really make it easier for people. Because I do agree that there's a level of user right now that has if it's easy to onboard new people to Pulse chain that haven't been a part of anything, but people that are like kind of on the I onboarded to Ethereum earlier, and now they understood that like it was tough to get them over the hurdle to understand what they needed to about Hex. Now adding this layer is more difficult for them. It's really tough for some people to wrap their head around, even though I'm like, you unstake on the one chain and then you go to the other one and you do the same thing, but like, but that's, it's so being able to have more interoperability like this is, I think, super crucial going forward for all the products that are out there that'll be on Pulse. So,
and
it was all like a dream of mine for this, for all of us, for like these things to all be there across the board. But like, just that's the whole idea that people have to understand is somebody's got to build it. Somebody's got to build it and make it all work, and again, more than just like golf clap, like big cheer for Alex for doing all he does. He really is. It's impressive. So
like my first reaction take is this is really good for Icosa. That's my I don't want to like delve into I want to actually watch Sloth's video, but that's my first take is like this is really exciting for Icosa. Obviously Hedron too, but I think even more exciting for Icosa, but I just want to watch it and listen, learn, and then I'll have a more intelligent take on it. But definitely exciting for sure. And again, if you're just tuned in, Q4 is when Alex said this could possibly be out. So there you go on that.
Pretty cool.
Very cool. Next up, just kind of the thing we've been talking about for, I guess, a week and a half now. This whole SEC thing. I guess. I'll shout out my buddy Rags to Riches, who may have taken out the bottom last night with his stream with Lawman, and looks like he scared a whale or two into emergency end staking.
There's some big end stakes there.
Oh my gosh, man! Like 20 million, 15 million plus the bonuses, like 54 million in penalties in one shot, and on both chains. Just insane. And it's like I'm not going to call a bottom here, but this is kind of how like the local top was made, was a lot of emergency end stakes and selling, and this is kind of how bottoms are made, in my opinion, with Hex. Is you get like huge quantities of emergency end stakes, and they get out, and then slowly they get bought back up, and eventually, the weak hands will run out, and the transaction volume still looks fine to me. I mean, we're still, the wallet activity looks good. It's like these huge accounts that have been spooked, that don't want to mess with it, that think it's dead money for who knows how long. They're just getting out and doing what they feel they should, and perhaps many other people can stand to benefit. Takes on that, sir or sirs? All this emergency end staking, Richard not streaming but tweeting every now and then, where are we going? What's price action look like? I mean, how long are we in for? Like years of like the sideways to nothing market, or can this be resolved in by the end of the year or early next year?
I mean, I don't think the case will be resolved or anything by the end of the year. I mean, not
resolved, but I mean, settlements have occurred within 4 months.
Yeah.
Who just settled for 4 months anyway? Somebody just settled for 4 months after 4 months.
So I'm not, but that is that would be some sort of a Hexagon miracle Christmas right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't foresee that happening, by the way.
I mean, but we could, it could stay down for a while.
Yeah, it could.
Sideways to down. And Steve, you tweeted a chart, I think it was yesterday, and it kind of came true sooner, I guess, than what some people wanted, but it was pretty accurate. It was like, kind of sideways to down was the summation of it.
At it like it's like it reminds me of like skipping a rock on a pond. The bounces get really close right at the end, and then it sinks right in the fucking water. So you got to be very careful. It doesn't always do that either, though. I mean, it can just bounce like crazy. Like, I mean, the opposite of that is that it finally bounces, right? And so that's I always joke around, but the farther we go down, the closer we are to that bottom, right? And I mean, it's just hard, right? You get that news. What I saw on a little bit on chain or through Deck Screener at least was when that got announced. A wallet dumped about just over $5 million in Pulse, followed by another $800,000, and then followed finally by a $2.3 million order. And that last $2.3 million sell, I mean, it was worth over $5 million 30 minutes before that.
Yeah.
So I think also there was a lot of liquidity. I think that person was providing a lot of liquidity. So again, I don't know where all that, I didn't track down where that money went, but all I'm saying is, some big people dumped. Big people in the ecosystem, they're probably not gone. Probably knew that kind of news would cause some sort of fall down. And a lot of times when you got liquidity, that dump, it went from 0.0001 down to like 0.0004 or something like crazy like that when that one big dump happened in that little time frame. And I mean, it's obviously going to equal out because the average price was that like right in the middle, right? So it evens out. And then if we don't get any more buy pressure, we just continue to do what we were doing. And that's what I guess, I mean, look at Bitcoin right now. Look at anything right now. It's doing, I mean, it's either going to come down and touch the long time frame EMAs and bounce off again like it always does with Bitcoin, or we may have a little bit more of a pullback and then the takeoff. But I mean, in theory, Pulse chain, we should come back quicker, right? 6 months, I think it was for Ethereum. Right? It's first front, whatever. But because of the SEC, we might see a delayed time frame.
I was going to say they didn't have a SEC,
X2, right? We launched a little earlier. Yeah, all this stuff combined is tough.
And that's the thing. I think once you get, and it could take a little longer because we could say some big stakes might be ending in the next few weeks or month or so, and those people might not want to wait to see how this gets resolved, and we could see some more dumping. But I think we've seen maybe the worst of it. I mean, that's not saying we can't go down. Of course I think we can, but sideways to down, I guess, is kind of my thinking for the near term. But like I said, all it takes is one event. I mean, you could have, a God whale or a new whale candle just come in and be like, okay, he thinks everybody is washed out. There goes, hundreds of millions of hex, and somebody comes in with an order, of like, multiple millions USD and takes that candle back up, and then the FOMO is back on again. And if you didn't get in at the bottom, then it's kind of like April of 2020. You're sitting on the ground looking up and be like, man, I should have gotten more. I wish I got more. I had got some, but if I just only. So such is the life in crypto.
Yeah, I mean, we still got some time, right? I mean, I'll be honest. In last bear market, a year from about now, I sold a couple Bitcoin right before it like went up 3x. So like I held it for 2 years over the entire, like I bought it at 8K, watched it go up to 14, watched it come back down to whatever, and back up to, and then I needed some money or whatever for a particular reason, and I made a decision to sell it. Literally 3 months later, the shit went triple, and that's nothing compared to what a pulse chain or something like that, or any L1 should do in its first year or its first cycle. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, really, if Richard came out and said, I'm streaming at like 8 p.m. tonight, we'd see like a 50% jump in price, in my opinion. Like that, I think, sadly, that would have that much of an effect, because, as much as, we can all say as much as we want to trust the code, and, Richard doesn't have to be here. Maybe that's true like a few years from now, but I don't think we're there yet. I think it's quite obvious. I mean, he tweeted today and the price went up 10%. What happens if he actually emerges and it's like, okay, I can't see him doing any live streams until this SEC stuff is over, because people are just going to want to ask him about stuff, and he's going to have to say, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. I can't answer that. So that the stream would be useless. But once he is able, I think we see a nice jump, a very, very nice jump, actually. Big K, you were going to say?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I agree with all of that. It might be good if, and this, pains me to say, if it might be good if we don't see him for a long time, because of what you said earlier. When you're like a few years from now, maybe it doesn't make a difference. I mean, it would be nice to live in a world where, Hex and or Pulse doesn't, like, Richard is like, we thank him for everything he's done, but we're not hanging on every one of his tweets for a 10% price bump.
Yeah.
So like,
I think this is the final
rip that band-aid. Yeah. I mean, to pull that set, to separate those, we might need to, have him be gone for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, and that's the other thing that I'd like to make sure to have mentioned to other, and I have along the way, when people, as I have fielded many phone calls about the SEC news, does the chain still work? Yes. Will it continue to work even if like the DOJ came for him? Yes. Does Hex still work? Yes. Will it continue to work under the worst of circumstances for Richard? Yes. So like, you can hang your hat on that, and then just keep building, and worry, like, let him worry about himself. And
I think you just said it right there.
The better off it is. When we've got a whole ecosystem where the shit coming out, things going on, and all, like, new version of Icosahedron and kick-ass pH products coming out all over the place, and just
exactly that's where I was going.
Another, then like eventually, like it would be so great for the community to be so large and loud when Richard does come back, that when he's like, "Hey guys, I'm back," and he gets almost drowned out in everybody else doing stuff. You know,
we have Power City, we have Liquid Loans, we got the pH ecosystem, we got Icosahedron. I mean, look at what all of our wonderful builders have been doing. Like he's always said, build it, you build it. Well,
Yeah,
that would be really cool if, like you said, he came back and it's just like, man, came back to so much of this. This is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. And it's it's like a Disney movie where the character comes of age because their parents die. Like we all, we all might need a little loss.
My favorite Disney memories.
I mean, that's basically all of them. That's how
like Bambi when her mother dies.
Bam! Enter, kill the kid's parents.
Kill the kid's parents.
Give them an animal sidekick, and they're gonna learn a lot about life. It's great, fantastic.
And Thumper. Okay. Who's our Thumper, Big K?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess RG was our original Thumper, really, so yeah. Or maybe Hexo too. Hexo's a pretty good animal sidekick for us. Shit. But yeah, so I mean that's what I mean that's all just like if I'm trying to write some movie-esque storyline here, but I mean it sounds like
featured in part 2 of the highest of stakes.
To be featured in part 2, which would
be awesome. Of course, none of this is planned, but just if it happened to work out that way, what a story it would be without the killing of parents and whatnot. But let's take that out. Yeah. Well, gents, we are about at the top of the hour. I got notes here. So Crypto Class and Hot Preel are doing a stream with Lamont Black over on Class's channel. So just search Crypto Class in your YouTube, and that should take you over there. Should be another good conversation with him. He's, like we said earlier, been making the rounds to different streams and getting his engagement. But I like the guy. I like the discussions that he's having, especially the ones on Twitter where he's actually taking the time to understand and reply with excellent points on both sides. And it's a great conversation. And I think it speaks well for our community that we're able to answer every question that he has and conduct ourselves in a nice manner rather than, oh, you gave Richard a hard time and a highest of stakes, F you, man. So it's good to see. And same thing for Miss Pope as well.
Yeah, they're both fantastic. They came from the right angle, and they weren't jaded from the start. They really came in with open eyes. I mean, by the end of it all, you're like, man, I think she might have bought some hacks. I'm not sure, but anyway.
All right. Well, before I ask these guys to shill themselves, I got my own little shill list right now. I just did the Class and Hot Preel on with Lamont. I pimped out my man Crypto Sloth, who is in chat. I tried to get him on here, but time ran out. To give us the Cliff Notes version of his excellent stream, which I will be watching tonight. It's the Icosahedron explainer. At least he runs through Alex's long message explaining Icosahedron, HMIs, Watsa, pretty much anything and everything you want to know is in that. Don't worry about it, Sloth. I appreciate you. The stream looks awesome from what I caught. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. And again, the ladies are on with Lamont. Big K, in the meantime, before we get off to the weekend, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Big Krakowski on Twitter and on Telegram. You can find me in the highest of stakes. Go see it.
Look at that.
If you're there, if you're in any of the cities that it's being played in, bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a bum off the street. I don't care. Bring somebody.
It's a butt in the seat.
Yeah, it's a
bum off the street is a butt in the seat.
A bum on the street is a butt in the seat. That's going to be my campaign motto. Clip that shit, somebody. So and then I look forward to seeing the UK releases next week. So if you know somebody in the UK or Ireland, and please let them know that there is lots of showings in their areas, and And if we can bring out some good support, you know, I might show up.
I think that'd be really cool if you showed up and met a choice UK hexagon or few that I have in mind. I would love to see the party photos with all y'all. So yes,
yeah, I'd love to do some little red carpety thing out there.
There
so
you go.
We'll see what we can do.
Steve Hitson, where can we find you, sir?
Well, besides supporting the bum in the seat movement that just started, you can find me on X
But in a seat,
at Steve Hitson, X or Twitter. That's pretty much it, though. Or maybe on here every now and then with you guys. So I enjoyed it, though. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you messaging me and coming on and helping out with some of these topics, last minute. But we weren't gonna do a.
The shirt doesn't really work that well right now, does it? Like I still wear it. It's so faded, like you can't even barely read what chain it is anymore. But
I wore my where it does the ETH shirt, but of course my video sucks. So I had a cool background prepared. I had the "This Is Fine" thing ready, and you could only see it here in the green room. So maybe I'll screen grab it for you. Somebody reminds me on Twitter.
I saw you.
But thanks again for doing that. And like I said, we weren't going to do a show. We had Gary and Cody postponed, but figured, man, we need some good vibes in this community, and you guys certainly brought them. So appreciate that, man. Thank you, Steve.
Anytime.
Thank you, Big K.
Always.
Good work, gentlemen. All right, well, we will be back next week at some point or another. As always, check the socials at Cabana Crypto on all platforms. And we'll let you know when the next showtime is. Otherwise, my last shill, go see Crypto Class and Hot Preel with Lamont Black right now live. And later tonight, make sure you put Crypto Sloss, if you are in that ecosystem or part of the RH ecosystem, Icosahedron explainer on your watch list. Good stuff for education. All right, gents. Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat. You guys rock. As always, we will see you next week. Cheers, everybody.